Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the Footy Five, where we're going to take a look back at the first week, figure out what happened. We're going to look at 4 key matches, starting out with Munche, Man United, Chelsea.
The premier matchup of the weekend, especially on NBC, because Christian Pulisic is
Oh,
American.
God, we didn't even talk about that in the lead up.
It's to an American audience. They're going to shove it down your throats.
Oh, it's been awful. Absolutely awful.
Every single one of their games this season is going to be highly publicized, and it's great for Chelsea because they're going to get a lot.
That's why. That's one of the reasons they got him. He's a good footballer. Plus, it's going to give them good access.
Their
to
American audience,
huge audience,
is much larger now because they have the best American player in recent years.
How did we miss talking about that in the lead up to this?
Exactly, but I mean, poor game from Chelsea. I mean, he didn't start.
They looked good for the first 15 minutes. Tammy Abraham off the crossbar early, but then the penalty, and it was downhill from there.
Yeah, the quote from Maguire was, they want to make it a fortress, but it wasn't really a fortress. It was more so just the opponent was missing.
Yeah, Chelsea was just bad.
Yeah, and if you had Eden Hazard, if you had maybe Gonzalo Higuain like they had last year for Chelsea, maybe they have a few more goals in the lead up of that game, and it's a different match entirely. Versus the penalties given up for Rashford, he scores, and then in the second half, Paul Pogba absolutely takes the game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, he was nowhere to be found in the first half. Not putting his imprint on the game at all. United, okay, not really doing much, but then he had the long through ball and the short through ball, and they were both pinpoint, beautiful passes, doing what Paul Pogba does, what he is great at, and the game was over.
Basically.
But Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, their first performance in front of De Gea, clean sheet. They all look very, very good together.
Wan-Bissaka is just defensively stunning.
He's very good.
Anybody gets past the United defense, he's cleaning them out with the tackle. He's as good a defender I've seen that emerge in recent years.
And you know what? He's not Kurt Zuma. Yeah. This is, in case you can't read it, Lampard says, don't make silly tackles in the box.
And
Zuma just turns his ear closed. And he looked awful. Absolutely awful.
He was out of the loop. And Everton wanted to sign him a ton. They really wanted to get him to their club, and Chelsea are saying, maybe we should have made that. Maybe we should have sent him over to Everton.
Slowly backing out of that picture.
Exactly.
So, again, not the greatest of starts for Chelsea, but I know Lampard's going to get that team turned around and get them playing in one right direction.
And the thing is, they have the unity of the fans, which is a big thing. Yeah. People weren't calling for his head immediately because they recognize the challenge he has, and this is going to be a process.
Yeah. They will not be in the top 6. That was my preseason prediction. See how
it's going to be tough.
So far, I look brilliant.
They're in the relegation zone. Those are bad.
All right, second matchup here, City and the Hammers. Sterling, a hat trick, man of the match performance. Also involved in the offside VAR call, which we'll talk about. But at this outset, you have Bernardo Silva and Sergio Aguero on the bench, leaving fantasy owners everywhere. What are you doing?
Exactly. And, I mean, the thing is, it just showcases City have ridiculous depth. I mean, look at that bench. Going from left to right, it's Aguero, Otamendi, Phil Foden, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and then their new signing, Jonathan Cancelo.
It's ridiculous. Those guys would start for any club.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not Otamendi, but any club anywhere in Europe.
Exactly. And that's just so stunning that they're able to put out a winning side as well as have these guys on the bench to back you up. It shows you that they're going to be able to perform in every competition.
Poor Manuel Pellegrini. He was at the helm of this team a few years ago and, led them to that the most memorable final match day in Premier League history when they overcame United and won the title for the first time in a long time.
He walked so Pep Guardiola could run. Is that how it works?
I feel terrible for him. And now he's in West Ham. Not that London is a bad place, but he's just not at City anymore.
And VAR came under fire, or video assistant referee came under fire because there was...
And so random. I can't believe I just did that.
The shoulder of Raheem Sterling was offsides, and people are saying, well, those are millimeters. In my opinion, rule's the rule. There's no...
He's offside. Just people are very heated about how the impact is having on the flow of the match and the emotion of the match.
Because after every goal, before, you could just celebrate all you want. But now you have that element of, is that going to be called back? So the question is, are you removing the passion from the game? And it's becoming more and more robotic as people have been fearing with the influx of higher transfer fees and things like that. People are afraid the game's losing the passion it once had. I think it's a bit reaching there.
We'll see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting season. See how 100%. It pans out. But two other good performers. Mahrez with 2 assists, played a great match, and Rodri was dominant, very commanding in the midfield. Played
passed really well.
92% passing.
They missed out on signing Jorginho last year from Napoli.
This turned out better for them.
I believe it turned out better for them. A bit more expensive, and Jorginho went to Chelsea, obviously. But I think that they're not complaining at all.
No.
They won the title last year, and now they have fantastic depth. And their contender for the title this year is Liverpool, and they started off the entire season on that Friday with just battering.
Yeah, just destroyed Norwich. Poor Norwich fans. Disgusting scenes at Anfield as stewards forced Norwich fans to stay and watch the game.
Yeah, it was tough.
They never really looked in it.
I mean,
Pucky did get a goal,
twice,
in the 64th minute there, but never really looked to be in danger. Liverpool did. They just looked commanding.
They stormed out of the gates, and then they cooled off, and a bit of that was because Allison came up with an injury.
36th minute.
And they said, I don't want to push too hard and get another major injury, because if Allison, the looks of things, it's not going to be a long-term injury, but it is going to take him out for a couple of weeks. So he's going to miss Super Cup on Wednesday. He's going to miss probably a couple league games as well.
Southampton and Newcastle, so it's okay. I mean, they always seem to have trouble with Southampton. Newcastle, we both have pegged for relegation. Who knows what's going to happen there.
And their new guy, Adrian, in goal, he had to come in right away.
He's eccentric. It'll be interesting to see how he does.
Exactly. And
Firmino had a nice assist to Salah, and he was denied with a great save from Krul on that off his chest, left-footed volley. Just a beautiful, beautiful. It would have been the goal of the year, certainly goal of the week. Candidate right away. Trent Alexander-Arnold had that beautiful assist to Origi that he took off his head and put in. As I said, Timu Pucky put it in goal. He's going to get 15 goals this year. He gave that back line a little bit of fits.
Yeah.
He was the one thing that I think Liverpool were worried about.
Liverpool looked very shaky at the back line compared to how they usually look. And I think that was something for Klopp to look out for, because he has the big match against Chelsea on Wednesday for a trophy. And then obviously there's a match against Arsenal upcoming.
Is the Super Cup really a trophy, or is it a friendly?
It's not the Community Shield. You can argue it's a one-match friendly. So it's tough to say it's a trophy, but it's technically counted as one. So Liverpool will say, if they can win it, second trophy in 6 months.
And VAR broke. The controversy in this game was starting out the second half. No headsets, no communication, no VAR. They had to.
It would take a long time.
They had to turn it off and turn it on again.
Yeah.
That's what I call IT. What's they going to tell you? Detroit restarting. All right, our last match we're going to take a look at for the week: Spurs and Villa. Poor Jack Grealish. I don't mind his hair being follically challenged. I think it's fantastic. But this is the funniest tweet I think that we saw, courtesy of Combat Carl, saying he's missing a huge sponsorship opportunity in strings and things. But he did have a tough game. He gave the ball up in dangerous areas.
He's one of their most promising players. He's been linked to clubs all over the top 6 from England. And he just struggled in general. He wasn't the only player to struggle. So a woeful miss from Sissoko. He has the ball right here, bottom of the screen, and the ball ends up over there.
As slow as it could possibly go to that corner, and it goes through or right by 3 or 4 Villa defenders.
It was stunning.
It was terrible.
How bad that miss was.
Absolutely terrible.
But the one positive was John McGinn being able to get that goal. Fantastic to take a goal.
I mean, I think they just got outlasted, really. But he had a great start, bright start.
And when we talked about Villa earlier in the summer, we said Tyrone Mings, a bit of a suspect purchase. He was the 5th-string center back at Bournemouth. He looked fantastic in the defense. He looked really good.
That pass to McGinn was crazy.
Had a great assist to McGinn, and until about the 73rd minute when Ndombele scored his first goal, then he was just dominant for the entire game. And the transfer wasn't a stunningly high one, but he was still able to prove to be very good.
Yeah, no, they played well. They got outlasted by Spurs and then just outclassed by Kane in the final minutes.
You see Kane do that all the time, where he just takes a poacher's goal.
Exactly, he waits for his chance.
Yeah, his position is phenomenal, and he's able to get in the right places at the right time. Something Grealish, when he's in the right place, struggles to do.
I think Villa have to take a look at it, but again, he's cursed. Poor Grealish. He's now lost 19 straight Premier League matches in a row, which is a record.
Obviously disjointed because they were in the Championship last year, but he's had a rough time, to say the least.
So he took the brunt of it for Villa for the first week, but I think Villa's going to be fine. They looked really, really good at times.
To go away to the new Spurs Stadium,
it's not an easy place to play.
actually kind of dominate, because you saw the polarity between them and against Norwich as well. There was differences, and you at least saw that they were able to put up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich outclassed. Villa just ran out of steam at the end. I think and Kane just did Kane things.
Exactly. They ran out of steam. That's the perfect way to describe it. Not something to throw your hands up and go back to the drawing board. They'll be okay this year.
All right, that's it for week 1 look back. We'll be doing a week 2 preview here in a little bit. So thank you very much. Give us a like, a comment, or a subscription. We appreciate your time. Take care now. Have a good night.